aside the fact that I just woke up, got dressed, and haven't made my bed yet, I wanted to make a video because I was tagged in a post on the little book of face about books. Things that I hold very dear to my self-being. I would like to thank my friend Summer for tagging me in this post, and it's about the 10 most influential books in your life. So let's get started. Book number 1, The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. It is it's not really, I mean, you can have it as a mini book. It's more like a poem, but my mom had single copies of each of the Edgar Allan Poe's work, and I read The Raven. That was the first book I ever read by myself, without anybody's help, so I guess that has a huge influence on my life. Book number 2. It's not really a book. It's more like books. It's an entire series. It's Harry Potter. I absolutely am a Potter diehard fan. I'm not as, technical about it as some people, and like in a trivia contest, I would kind of do okay, but it was a series that consistently, every time a new book came out, I would reread the series up until the release date of the new book, so I knew exactly what was going on. I absolutely I own all of them. I will continue to own all of them forever and ever. Book number 3. One day, after I graduated college, I had moved back home like every other post-college kid does, and my mom came up to me and she's like, you can either do chores or you can read this book. No one wants to do chores, so of course I read this book. It's called The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfeld. It is absolutely amazing. It is a book that I read in less than 48 hours. I could not put it down since having read Harry Potter. It's amazing. Check it out. Book number 4 is actually Perks of Being a Wallflower. I read that book consistently, I think 6 or 7 times in high school. I have not seen the movie, nor do I want to see the movie, even though the screenplay was written by the gentleman who wrote the book. That book meant so much to me as a human being. What I was like in high school was kind of like the main character, and I just could not get away from that, and I don't want to ruin it with a movie. I just love the book so much. I have a copy of it. It's torn to pieces. Book number 5, not 10, 5. It's, again, not another book, it's actually another series. It's the Game of Thrones saga, I guess, the Song of Ice and Fire, which is huge. Another great series that makes me want to make my brain explode. I absolutely adore this series, and I can't, I'm waiting with bated breath for book 6. Let's go, Mr. Martin. Come on, let's do it. Book 6 is actually, it's like all of the Winnie Pooh stories in one saga. So I guess it's just overall Winnie the Pooh. My mom had this extremely old copy, hardcover, covered in this red scratchy material. But I remember just taking that and devouring it as a little kid as soon as I got my hands on it. And it's a story that I will definitely pass on to my children whenever I have them, and tut tut, it looks like rain. I'm a big fan of letting kids read whatever the hell they want, because you never know, and I know this sounds bad, but you never know what's going to be that gateway book for kids, and they'll pick up this book and realize that, oh, reading is awesome. So when I was a kid, every night I read Archie comic books. Huge, big influence on it. Not so much of a reader back then, but every night, Archie comic books. I would read 3 or 4 of them. I got a huge box of them from a family friend, and that was done. Archie comic books number 7. Another, I guess, again, another book series, but I guess it really all started with one book in particular. One Christmas, opened up a present, and I got an American Girl doll. I got Molly, which is the doll or the character from the 1940s during World War II, and I got the book accompanied with it, and I absolutely loved these series because they showed really strong female characters during different periods of time. They were great learning with history. They were great with just a strong female character for young girls. And I remember that was actually the first chapter book that I read by myself, was actually Meet Samantha, and then I begged and begged and begged and begged to get Molly. In high school, we were told in our English class that we could read whatever book we wanted. We had kind of like a free period to read whatever book, whatever genre, whatever format you wanted, and then you could do a book report about it or an oral presentation. And I decided to do Death of a Salesman, the play by Arthur Miller, and ever since then, I guess books are books. That's my favorite play. It comes in book format, but it's definitely gave me an insight to other great theater that has to do around there. And I just remember telling like the ending to my class because no one else wanted to read it, and they were just like, what? Why'd you tell us that? Well, it's like, you guys are gonna read it. Are we? Oh yeah, we're at 10. So 10 was so hard because there's a lot of books that actually have influenced me throughout my entire life, and it's really hard to narrow it down to 10 because I'm just like, well, this book meant this to me and this book meant this to me, and I guess I want to be a comedian, and this is huge for me, and doing research is a huge part of being anything. Like, you can't become a doctor without being research, and everyone's like, oh, you're just tell jokes to be a comedian. Well, no, there's actually a lot to learn. So I guess my book number 10 is actually called We Killed: The Rise of Females in Comedy, and I actually have a video previous to this explaining like a little review, so if you'd like to watch that one, go ahead. But it's basically a first-hand account starting with way back when, you know, with Elaine May and, you know, Phil Stiller, Joan Rivers, all the way up to like Kristen Wiig, and it's a great book. It actually provided me with a lot of information and has a huge impact on how I now look at females in comedy and respect females in comedy. So, book number 10, We Killed. Thank you so much, guys, for watching once again. As you know, you can always go down to the down below and give it an up or a down, or, you know, a view or a comment. And in this retro, you know, in retro, I don't know what I'm saying. In this idea, I'm going to tag a few people. I'm going to tag my mom, Teresa Lautenschlager, and my sister-in-law, Laura Lautenschlager. And I want you guys to provide 10 books that have thoroughly influenced your life. You don't have to make a video. You can post it over on Facebook or whatever other social media you like and tag someone else. And again, until next time. And until next time, guys, sláinte.